G'day cocktail lovers, I hope you've been keeping well. I hope you're ready. This is a new segment. I'm declaring it to be Milk Punch Monday or Milk Clarified Monday because I like alliteration as much as the next person, and I'm slightly obsessed with the whole process of milk clarification. There are already quite a few milk clarified cocktails on my channel, and I plan to do a few more. And what I want to explore is some of the classics, both the old time classics and the drinks known as the modern classics, and what are they like if you milk clarify them. And this first one I'm doing for my first official Milk Punch Monday was actually inspired by Jean-Felix from Truffles on the Rocks when he did a Long Island iced tea. He clarified the cola because he found out, or it became obvious, when you pour cola into milk, it curdles almost instantly, and that became the starting point. So I'm going to do that, and I thought what I would do was a Cuba Libre, which is rum and coke, but also with some lime, a bit more than that. And I thought if I clarify that, that could be a really interesting drink. So that is what I am going to do. Now, your traditional Cuba Libre, it's like you have 1.5 to 1 2/3 ounces, 40 to 50 mils of rum. They normally talk about a lighter rum, a gold rum, not a really heavy rum. But I'm going to use a pretty punchy rum because one thing the clarification process does is soften the flavors. So I thought, if it's going to soften it anyway, why not go with something that's a bit punchy? So normally you do like that 40-50 mils of rum, about 1/4 ounce of lime juice, and then top up with your colas, usually about 4 ounces. Because the process takes a while, I'm going to make it worth my while. So as I make it now, I'm making enough for 2 drinks. So I'm going to start with the cola component, using my favorite cola, not endorsed by Pepsi Max in any way. Unfortunately, I'd love it if they were sponsoring me because I drink so much of this. And no, I do not need to hear your wrong opinions about Coke v Pepsi. Everyone's entitled to their own things. If you disagree with me, you're just wrong. So I am going to do, I'm going to do about 8 to 10 ounces. That is fizzing up too much, so I'm not actually sure how much. There we go, settling down. I'm going to do about 8 to 10 ounces of the cola, and now going to add the other components. For the rum component, as I said, I'm going with something a bit punchy because the clarification process will tone the flavors down anyway and will also lighten the color of the drink. I'm going with Plantation's Overproof, 69% alcohol, nice. The OFTD, which they say on the label stands for Old Fashioned Traditional Dark, but folklore has it that it really stands for oh fuck, that's delicious, which is the first thing someone said when they tasted it, when they were testing it. So normally you'd put 1.5, 1 2/3 ounces of rum for a single drink, 40 to 50 mils. I'm making for 2 drinks, but also because it's overproof, I'm just rounding it out. I'm going to do 3 ounces or 90 mils of rum, and we will just add that to our cola. We also need some lime juice. First, because that's just part of a Cuba Libre. Second, because when you're doing a milk clarification, you need acid content. And the easiest way to get that is with a citrus juice, lemon or lime, and most common. This drink has lime, lends itself to it, and we need enough. So some people just put like a splash of lime in a Cuba Libre. I'm making 2 drinks. I'm going to put a little bit in. I'm going to say 1/2 ounce or 15 mils of our lime juice, adding it to our cola and rum. Now comes the important bit, the adding to milk to clarify it. Now, a couple of things I need to tell you about milk clarification. Folklore that is wrong. Some people will tell you you need to warm or even boil the milk. No, you do not. In fact, that can be counterproductive. Cold milk is fine. Second, it's the fat content that's important. Do not try this with skim milk. Use full fat milk or close to full fat milk, because it's the fat content that does the curdling, which is absolutely vital to the clarification process. This counts if you're using something vegan as well. I've successfully done milk clarification with coconut milk and with almond milk. So long as there's enough of a fat content, you'll get the equivalent of curdling and you can clarify the drink. So I've put 3 ounces of milk in here because the ratio you want is about 4 to 1. Your drink to the milk should be about 4 to 1. So I've approximated with about 3 ounces of milk in here. So we just add that in there and it goes murky and arguably really unattractive straight away because it curdles. We always get told that curdled milk is bad, but that's how we get cheese, and cheese is the best thing ever. So you can see already this has started to separate almost straight away. So what I'm going to do is now set this aside until it's really separated. I'll wait and see. It'll probably take half an hour to an hour. Time has passed and this is looking pretty gross, quite honestly. This is different to how I am used to a milk clarification looking, and that is all down to the cola, but there's this stuff floating on top that we're going to need, because what we're going to do now is pour it through a funnel that has a coffee filter in it. But the coffee filter is only going to do part of the filtering. Most of the filtering is actually done by the curds created when the milk curdled. So when we pour this into here, just fill that up. We need the curds to go in. There you go, you big sloppy thing. Now, I'm going to have to do this in a couple phases. But one important thing to note is initially it goes through kind of fast. And while you can see, even though that was cola, you can see that's a lot lighter than cola, but it's a little cloudy. What we need to do is let this run through for a while until the curds settle into the filter, and then we need to run it through again. Alternatively, you can run the whole lot through once and then run it through a second or even a third time. The thing is, I don't know if you can see that, but it's already slowed down quite a lot as the curds start to settle, and that's going to filter it more. The more you run it through, the clearer the end result is going to be, which is just aesthetically pleasing. So off camera, what I'm going to do is actually run this through a couple of times, probably at least twice, and then I'll come back to you and show you what it looks like when it's gone through the clarification process properly. Here we are some considerable time later, and the clarification has happened. And I'm pretty impressed considering, the cola made it a black drink and it's clarified to this color, which is pretty impressive. I ran it through the curds a couple of times to get this. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this whole thing was inspired by Jean-Felix from Truffles on the Rocks, and what he discovered when he tried to recarbonate his drink with a soda stream, because the clarification process does decarbonate the cola. He tried to recarbonate it with a soda stream. It was a disaster. It sprayed everywhere. With a soda stream, if you don't know, if you do anything but plain water, when you take the lid off, it's just going to go everywhere. This is one of my lockdown COVID purchases, of which I have many, but this is a special carbonator that has you get a special lid that has a safety release valve on it, so it won't go everywhere. So you can literally carbonate anything with this. So I'm going to give it a go and see if I can recarbonate this now and then give it a taste test. So let's go with some carbonation. Here we have the finished carbonated product. It's calmed down. It was very angry for a while. It was nothing but bubbles all the way to the top for quite a while. I had to slowly release the pressure, and now it's looking fine. It was looking like a very badly poured beer before. It was just all head, but a little hiss as we let out. And I am just going to serve this in a rocks glass with some of my neat invisible ice. Oh yes, got a nice bit of fizz happening there. And it's a very nice color. Again, no matter how many times I do milk clarification, I'm amazed at the result. This was cola, this was black. And just with the milk clarification, it's gone this yellowy orange color and it's very clear. But now for the all important taste test, what does a milk clarified Cuba Libre taste like? Let's go. Oh, it tastes good, I'll tell you that much. Doesn't really taste like, oh, there's a bit of cola taste in there. Now, again, like I said, because I used a really fierce rum, I can definitely taste the rum. It's toned down from what that rum tastes like straight, or even what that rum tastes like in a cocktail that hasn't been clarified. Very nice, light lime element in it. But yeah, this is very much its own thing. It does not taste like a rum and coke. No, it's really good. I think it's quite brought out the fruit elements of the rum, and it actually just tastes like a really light, fruity drink. It's quite amazing. It barely tastes of cola. That very quite strong rum has been turned into quite light rum. If you made this with a lighter rum, the sort of rum you'd normally make a Cuba Libre with, it probably wouldn't taste of rum at all. Okay, you know, asterisk, beware, it's still alcohol. Milk clarified cocktails can be super dangerous because they don't taste as alcoholic as non-clarified cocktails do, and also carbonating it like I did here, carbonation of alcoholic drinks makes it dangerously taste like a soft drink, like a soda. But this, yeah, no, this I can get behind. You could make it, definitely, yeah, you could make it just like a Cuba Libre. Put it in a tall glass, fill it with ice, put a little lime wedge on the top, sit by the pool, and imagine you're part of the revolution. I'm definitely calling this one a success. I'm calling this one a success because what's interesting with the milk clarification process, never quite sure what's coming out the other side. It's always interesting. It's not necessarily better than the original. Sometimes it's better. I mean, I think this is definitely more interesting. It's nicer than a normal Cuba Libre, you know, rum, coke, and lime. It's just more interesting. To me, this is much more interesting. The cola flavor doesn't dominate like it often would in that sort of mix. And yeah, it's its own thing. It tastes really different to a Cuba Libre. And if you're going to try this yourself, I'd be very interested to hear back from you how it went. But yeah, my one recommendation is to use a fairly bold rum if you have one, because the clarification process definitely softens the edges. You don't have to recarbonate. I think it would taste really nice as a still drink, just served up. But if you're going to carbonate, make sure you're using the right tool. There's a few things on the market you can use, but yeah, your good old soda stream, you will lose most of your drink. If you try and carbonate this clarified cocktail without the right tools, it'll spray everywhere and you'll lose half of it. And no one wants that. We want to drink our cocktails, not have them spray all over the room. So that's my last bit of advice to you. Use the right tools if you're going to attempt to recarbonate Clarified Cuba Libre. Well, I'm very happy with that and how that went. I'm definitely going to do a series of these, doing clarifications of the classics. This is just the first one that occurred to me. It's the first time I've done that little trick with cola and milk, which worked, but is weird, and it went this really weird foamy thing. So I had to put it through a couple times to get the drink properly clarified. But yes, I'm going to do it with some more classics down the line. If there's something in particular you'd like me to try clarifying, just leave me a message or put a comment below and tell me. Otherwise, I will see you next time. So I hope you take care of yourself, take care of people around you, and until I see you again, cheers.